Dear younger me, you are wanted. Growing up as a kid, I had a close-knit family, especially with my extended family. My cousins were like, extensions of my siblings, and my aunts and uncles were like extension of my parents, even second cousins, the close family friends and people that you call your aunts and uncles when they're really not. I had a lot of that, and it was just really safe and familiar, and yeah, it provided me just confidence in who I was. And it wasn't until we moved in the sixth grade for me, I was about 11, that I would joke a lot about now. But looking back, I was really depressed during that time. And it was really sad. I dealt with some micro bullying, and I say micro because it wasn't like overtly in your face. Like I never had someone take my lunch or do something to me, but there's a lot of people talking about me in group chats and stuff that was revealed to me later on, to people that I trusted at the time, and that was really discouraging. And so I went back, of course, to what I knew, what was familiar. A lot of the people who were at my school now when I moved, they had known each other since pre-K and those early fundamental years. And I did have those relationships too, but I moved. So I went back to what was familiar, to the graduation for sixth grade. When I moved, it was a K-8 school, so they didn't have graduation. So I was kind of robbed of my sixth grade graduation because I moved. But I went to the sixth grade graduation with the people that I had literally just spent my birthday with in February. And I went there in June to celebrate, thinking like, I'm gonna surprise them. They're gonna be so happy to see me. Like, it's been so long. I'm sure they miss me as much as I miss them. And really, I was met with like, why are you here? And it was devastating. Like, I remember that time I was just searching, and like I felt so alone, and I felt so unwanted, because it was like the people that I wanted to build relationships with didn't find me valuable. They didn't find it felt like no one felt the same thing about me that I wanted so desperately with them. And so I had another incident at my new school with someone that I was considering my best friend, and was ultimately my best friend at that time, a very close friend of mine. And I had walked her to band practice during recess, and she said to me, what are you gonna do, along the lines of like, it's not like you have any other friends, so what are you gonna do during this time? And I remember being really stuck, because like I said, I felt so unsure of myself at that time, but also it was like, oh, my cover is blown. Like, it's not an internal thing that I feel about this. Like, everyone else knows too. Is this like the butt of the joke? And so, yeah, I went home to my mom. I remember I cried. And then like this burden was lifted off of my shoulder after that. It's kind of like when you get into it may be morbid, but when you get into your first car accident, you no longer are afraid of getting in a car accident, so you kind of become a freer driver. That's kind of how I felt with this. Like, it's like, now that they know, I don't have a fear of this, and so I was okay with being alone. I used to, like, during recess, go and read books on the grass by myself, and like just find ways to be by myself. I didn't feel an obligation to be around people. And eventually, eventually in life, I did end up making some incredible friendships. Even some people there at that school that I had, such awkward spot. I ended up the next year making relationships with people, and still having relationships with some of them to this day, and going on to high school and college. But I think the moral of the story just was like, I only felt that I was valuable because I was known by so many people, especially being a pastor's kid from a community leader who's known. Like, I felt so much value was attributed to me because people knew me. And when that was stripped from me, I felt like I was no longer valued or wanted. And so, yeah, if someone else is experiencing that, you feel alone, you feel lonely, know that your value is inherent to you. And it doesn't matter if other people see it or know it, but that was your birthright, value and want. My name is Maya Anderson, and I'm committed to pioneering a movement where no one goes insane. Comment the word HOPE to donate and join me in this movement today.